What opinion of yours makes you an a-hole? People in declining health, old people, need to retake driver's tests regularly. It's ageism, pure and simple. An acquaintance of mine was hit and killed by a person whose age had diminished his eyesight and cognitive function so much that the driver didn't even know he was driving unsafely. I don't get why this isn't the case. I got my license when I was 16. It says I have 20/20 vision and don't need glasses. I am now 40. I have never had my eyes retested for driving. And what about reflexes or awareness? Someone who serves in the military isn't automatically a hero or someone to be revered and looked up to. Family isn't nearly as important as people think it is. Don't ever let someone pressure you into something because they're family. If you want to cut them out of your life, go for it. I cut my mom out of my life nearly 10 years ago now, and people are still giving me their goddamn 2 cents on the matter. I unironically think death should be just another lifestyle choice. Look at all the billions we waste so old people can suffer a few additional months at the ends of their lives. That makes no sense to me. Women should only be accepted into the fire brigade, military and police force, etc. if they can pass the same physical tests as the men have to. As a vet of the current wars, I agree. When my 100 kilograms, 180 centimeters tall buddy had to pick my ass up like a baby and run about 100 meters with me unconscious, through heavy SA fire, I was damn glad he was so big and strong. I wouldn't want a 150 centimeters, 50 kilograms female trying that. Yes, I'm aware that not all females are that small. It's not about sexism, it's about providing the best possible chance of being able to support the soldier next to you and keep them alive. I am about as liberal as it gets on all my opinions, but I'm kind of tired of hearing about the spectrum of genders. Look, I'll call you whatever you want me to, but upon first meeting I will refer to you using male or female terms based on whichever sexual features you present. Don't get offended with me. It seems like every day someone creates a new word to describe their gender or sexuality. This being said, I am going to respect you regardless, and I don't care who uses what bathroom. Just don't act like an a-hole to me when I call you sir, and you are actually a wolfkin amiosexual partial binary womprat. While I am mostly accepting of people who exhibit a non-binary gender identity, I have always believed that these people need to understand that until told otherwise, people are going to assume your gender. While they may dislike it, simply saying, "Actually, I don't identify with that gender, don't use those pronouns," should rectify the situation. If the person continues to intentionally misgender you after you tell them, then be the biggest a-hole you want. But do not assume that we will be able to know the full extent of your gender identity at a glance. Most children are annoying. All children are annoying some of the time, and some children are annoying all of the time. And most are not cute. I don't want to see your newborn baby's pictures. He looks like a purple alien. I'm a Muslim and I hate when other Muslims go to someone else's country and try to make it into a Muslim country. The only reason I left Muslim countries is because of how fucked up it is. That's why now I follow the rules of the country I'm in and go against those who want to implant Sharia law. Fuck that law. Good on you. As a Canadian, I'm with you 100%. I'm a liberal Albertan. I registered my home to take in Syrian immigrants, never happened. And 99% of Muslims I've met are so incredibly nice. But if you want to change my culture or force your religion or think less of women, then stay put. Having kids shouldn't be a right but a privilege. Some people should not have kids. I agree, but it's impossible to enforce without quickly degrading into a corrupt tyranny. If I knew my child was going to be retarded, I would want to abort it. Too many people use mental illness as a crutch for bad or lazy behavior. This makes it harder for people who have real mental illness to get help. But anyone who questions anything, or even believes that we should have limits concerning what we do for, or consider, mental illness, is an a-hole. My coworker claims she has mental problems and, I'm crazy I am. To a degree I agree, but not to the extent which she makes out. To yardstick this, years ago I worked in a bar. One of my coworkers on the holiday period was a psychiatric nurse getting extra cash. Some loud-mouthed twat was gobbing off about how he had mental problems. I'm crazy me, and all that crap. Heather, the nurse, turns to me and says, I hate dickheads like him. Of all the people in here, he's the least of the problems. The one over there, she's the one that's mental, and points at a woman drinking alone, tipsy, flirtatious and slightly askew but normal. She was fairly regular, face seen around town, never wasted, dressed well, pretty much always polite, sometimes an off comment that raised a question but not much more. I asked her why and she details bits of her nurse life, snippets of the social worker's file written about that woman and what real sick, twisted stuff she'd done. Heather then tells me that they are expecting to get the sign-off for full committal to the psychiatric hospital the next week. Heather would be the one signing off the paperwork and doing the doorstep knocking. Week later, I'm on shift with Heather again, and ask how it went. She never got that far. The woman had an argument with her boyfriend, and assaulted him, slashing his face with a knife and going completely batshit crazy with a full police squad restraining her. Heather was called urgently to the police station to speed track the mental health paperwork to protect the officers. Ever since then, anyone who cries, "Look at me! I'm standing on one leg! I'm crazy!" I think of as attention-seeking. Those truly mentally disturbed don't show it that way. The developmentally disabled shouldn't be praised or given special opportunities just because of their disability. My brother and my sister both have development disabilities. I've seen and felt both sides of the argument. A lot of this has to do with the culture from even before our times. People like my brother and sister were shoved out of society, ridiculed, mocked, taken advantage of, jailed, locked away in asylums, and given some of the coldest treatment a human could get. The culture today, while not perfect, is much warmer and welcoming because there are brave men and women who haven't let their troubles and disabilities break their spirit, as well as the kind people who have helped open the doors for them. 50 years ago, my sister would either be in an asylum or treated like my great-aunt Dorothy and be a family burden and outsider. Today, she works in a gym, organizes the buddy program and Special Olympics program at our former high school, coaches Spec Olympic cheerleading, and runs half marathons. On the other hand, my brother works at Walmart and plays Pokemon and Pokemon Go too much. That isn't very praiseworthy, but I'm proud he finally got the job. Euthanasia should be legal everywhere. Soon as a person's quality of life has declined, they should have that option. I would consider this makes me an a-hole, as I know many people who couldn't face it, but my gran is in the very late stages of Alzheimer's and I wish we'd sent her off ages ago. She's not the gran I knew when I was younger. Why do I want these final days to be my last memories of her? I barely want to see her anymore cause it's just depressing for everyone involved. It would release the whole family of a burden we have hanging over us. Constant care and lots of money poured into someone who doesn't know what day it is, and lies there in her bed like a Draugr from Skyrim. It's not fair on anyone involved, and I strongly consider it to be the best thing to do. It would also allow my granddad to get out and about a bit more. He's miserable right now cause of the heartbreak he's facing. He can't get out cause he can't leave her, even though she sleeps for days on end. It's just that constant risk. It really sucks, and dare I say everything would be far easier if my gran had just been safely, quietly and peacefully euthanized in her home about a year ago. But you've just got to deal with it, and try not to think about this kind of thing. If you are successful mostly because your parents were, you are not a superstar. A lot of rich kids inherited money or a company, and they think they are better than other people. Take care of yourself first. By that I mean, you can't help anyone while struggling and worrying about your income or personal issues. If you do help them, they'd sink you. I would never shame someone for having to go to work or school or whatever before helping me. I understand they don't prioritize it over me, but they can halt their life to immediately help me. You simultaneously fuck yourself over trying to help someone, and it helps either. I work hard so I never have to ask for a favor or be stuck in a situation where I can't help someone family because I'm in shit, too. I don't want to be helpless in any situation. I try to always be on top of things to be ready for anything. Plan A, Plan B and room for error. But when I explain that to someone, their immediate response or understanding is I'm being a selfish a-hole. It's not like I deny anyone, I just make sure I'm well enough to help first. Eugenics isn't a bad idea. If you are a carrier for a genetic disorder, you should seriously consider whether you should reproduce. Huntington's, muscular dystrophy, etc., are some of the most horrifying things I've ever seen. No one should live that life. I'm not saying murder everyone who is an Aryan, but I am saying that genetic counseling should be mandatory. Not just anyone should have a pet. They cost money. You need to invest time. It's a commitment. You might have a lot of love to give, but maybe it's not enough. If you can't afford an animal, don't get one. I live in a great city, but it has a significant homeless issue. Now I know a certain portion are good people and all, but if you are one of those piece of shit junkies that use and just drop used dirty needles wherever you go, I would like to dispose of you myself. Have some consideration for pets and children at least, shit. I hate people that think they're holier than thou because they have kids. Every single post on social media is about their kid. Every conversation is about their kid. Any two idiots can make a baby. Get over yourself. People who receive food stamps should not be smokers or drinkers. If they can afford to buy tobacco or alcohol, they can afford to pay for their own food. What opinion of yours makes you an a-hole? Leave a comment and subscribe to the channel if you want to see more videos like this one.